Okay, so a couple years ago I built this owl box from scrap lumber and put it up, and it's been very successful. We just finished fledging a batch of 7 owlets this spring, and that makes 16 successful fledglings in 2 years that this owl box has produced. But back when I first built it, I did it just from scrap wood, and I looked on the internet for dimensions, but I didn't have plans, and I didn't make any video of how it was put together. And in the meantime, a lot of people have asked. So the owlets are no longer coming into the box at night. They still come and stand around on it and yell for food, but so I'm going to do the yearly cleanup, and when I do that, I will make a video showing the dimensions, the way it was built, and mounted, which is important because you need to be able to clean it out, and also explain some of this crazy camera stuff. Anyway. Okay. So one of the most important things about an owl box is to mount it in such a way that it's not a big deal to take it down every season to clean it out, because owls are messy as all get out, and the inside of the box is disgusting by the time they're done and fledged. So as you can see here, I've got this thing mounted with 3 lag bolts to a sturdy fence post, and what I do is I can back out the top and the bottom lag bolts and pivot it down on the center lag, and then there's a chain attached to the bottom which just keeps it from bouncing into the ground. But that's really quite useful. And what I'm going to do in this video is I'll do that and then show you the measurements and the construction when I have it down where we can see it. So this pole is mounted with three 9-inch lag bolts. So there's a good bit of lag bolt going into the other post. But what I can do, is just a 9/16 head on these lags. And so what I can do is I can back out 5 inches of the 2 lower lags, and that will allow me to pivot on this top one and lower the whole thing down within range of where I can clean it. So now you can see I have backed out the 2 bottom lags and tilted the box down, pivoting around the top lag bolt, and it's stopped from going all the way to the ground by this chain, which is useful because it's actually not easy to clean if it's tilted too far down. And the roof is hinged in the middle. Before I put this back up, I'm actually going to do a bunch of modifications. The camera is not in the optimal place inside the box. I'm going to try and build some sort of a cubby hole to protect it from the owls, because if you've watched my owl videos, you know that toward the end of the season, they beat the snot out of the camera with their little wings that they're all proud of. But as you can see, they've been standing on top of it, pooping everywhere, living inside it, pooping everywhere. They're basically disgusting little beasts. but they're great because they eat the gophers and voles for us, and they're cute. All right, so like I said, the top is hinged, and the camera is mounted to a magnet inside. I'm going to remount it because it's right here. It's actually in a bad position. It gets really beat up by the owls. So I'm gonna change that. But yeah, this is hinged and it's just one screw. I'll get you the dimensions of the box. The box is 16.5 by 25 by 19.25, 19.5. So, and I'll put those, I'll make a drawing showing that. The one of the important things to avoid is making the doorway too large. The doorway here is a little over 4.5 inches in diameter, and that's too small for a great horned owl to get in, because great horned owls will kill barn owls. Okay, here you might notice that the box is a little lower. That's because I moved the end point of this chain upward, so that I could more easily reach it. One thing to notice is I don't know if you can see, but there's a nice little pile of skulls underneath the post. There's skulls everywhere, little rodent skulls. Doesn't seem to scare them away though. So now I'm going to show you the result, the disgusting result of 7 successfully reared owlets. This is what the box looks like inside. It's quite a mess, but it's not that bad cleaning it out. I have this thing, this garden hoe type deal, which I highly recommend. Some archaeologist someday is gonna, this is all also rodent bones, the ground underneath, because every year I clean this out. But I will film that wonderful process for you so you know what you're getting into. And check it out, I added another improvement. Put a little hook and a loop here so that I can hold the door open. So now, the disgusting part, which is, and in fact, I'm going to go get a mask, because it's really disgusting. Here we go, safety first. Nobody can say that I'm the one who started the owl shit virus pandemic. So this is just a long process of scraping out the caked up owl shit that's in here, and God knows what else. It stinks. but it's necessary. And this is, it's 100 degrees out here, so I'm going to take my time doing this. I'm not going to make you watch the whole thing. Alright, so as you can see, I scraped quite a bit of stuff out, and the inside is clean now, relatively clean. The good thing about California being 1,000,000 degrees in the summer and no humidity is that I can now hose this out and it'll dry right up. It won't hurt the wood. So I'm going to do that. Alright, so I got it hosed out well. You can see there's a ton of crap that came out of there, the pine needles and all the guff that they put in there. But now it's relatively clean. I wouldn't eat off it, but they would. Here's a detail of the bottom. So basically I just made a square of 2x4s and drilled a big lag hole through the center of this 4x4 to mount it. And this has worked well for a couple of years, so been through some heavy windstorms and stuff. So I'll let this dry. Should take all of 40 seconds in the Central Valley of California. And then I'm going to do one more modification of the camera mounting, and it will finally be good. And then I can put it back up and wait for more owls. Alright, the box is nice and dry, and I've finished remounting the camera. So the camera is now mounted on an external bracket and looks through it's on this, it's a nice camera system. It's Reolink. Their remote gloms onto my Wi-Fi, and it's nice. It's a good system. It gives me good pictures, and I can now I'll be able to get at it from outside the box. Up until now, I've had I had it mounted inside on the roof, and the owls get as they get big, they start flapping around, they knock it all over the place, they unplug the charger and stuff, and I would have to stick my hand in the door to get to it. But now it should be easier to get to, and it gives me a little more room, gives them a little more room, and it gives me a little bit of more field of view, which is nice. So let's see, anything else about the box? You can see ventilation is important. There are these 4 spaces at the base. Like I say, I just sort of winged this thing to put it together. But hopefully you can see the general idea. I'm gonna fill it with pine needles now. That's what they like for substrate. And then I'll close it up and tip it back up. And we'll see if we can get a fall batch of eggs, which would be neat. That would be 2 broods in 1 year.